we understand Crystal Palace's top scorer, Jean-Philippe Mateta, has told the club he wants to leave this month. The news comes within a week of captain Mark Gay moving to Manchester City and manager Oliver Glasner announcing that he will leave in the summer when his contract expires. OK, chief correspondent Kaveh Solokal joins me now. Kaveh, this is another blow for the club. What's happened? Why doesn't Mateta want to leave? And now?
Well, look, he's got 18 months left on his contract. And just because he wants to leave Crystal Palace, it doesn't mean Crystal Palace are going to sell him. There is no way whatsoever they will let Jean-Philippe Mateta leave the club on the cheap. Now, talks were held about him extending his contract last summer, and those talks did not end with an agreement. And we've known for a long time that he may well be leaving Crystal Palace, but only at the right price. But what is significant today is that he's let it be known that he does actually want to leave. Before today, behind the scenes, we were all aware that he was looking for a move elsewhere. But today is the first time that I think he's been happy for it to be out there in public. So why? What has changed? Well, obviously, the transfer window is only open until February the 2nd. He has got in the France squad. He wants to play for a club who are in the Champions League or a club who are going to be in the Champions League next season. He knows that clubs like Juventus and Aston Villa are interested in signing him. But I go back to what I said at the beginning of my answer. Crystal Palace will not let him leave on the cheap. So a club like Juventus, thinking that they can offer £2 million loan fee to get Crystal Palace's leading striker, are totally wasting their time.
What sort of price should they be coming in at?
Well, I don't have, an official figure, but I would say it needs to start with a 3, and it probably needs to be 35, 40 million pounds. I know last summer clubs were interested in signing him. For instance, he was on the shortlist of Newcastle United. Tottenham made a very, very late bid to try and sign him before they signed Kolo Muani on loan. And I believe the figure that Tottenham were quoted was around 40 million pounds. Now, I think a lot of clubs will look at that and say that is too much for a player who's going to be 29, if he's not already 29. So he's not going to have that much resale value. But what he wants is to be in the France World Cup squad. You listen to what Crystal Palace fans say, and they say since he got in the France World Cup squad in the autumn international breaks, it appears that he hasn't been playing as well for Palace as he was before. He hasn't been scoring regularly, especially from open play. So they kind of feel something's changed. He wants out. If he wants out, fine. But let's make sure we get what he's worth, and let's make sure we sign an adequate replacement.
Yeah, he's 28 at the moment, but he's going to be 29 in June, so not long. Now, look, we saw what happened with Oliver Glasner hitting out with the news that Mark Gay was going. Criticised that decision, didn't he? There was talk that he might leave now rather than in the summer. So what effect could this possibly have on his short-term future?
Look, I think Oliver Glasner knows what's going on. If we've known for months and months that Jean-Philippe Mateta effectively wanted to leave Crystal Palace, obviously the manager knows as well. But I hear what you're saying in your question. Eze's gone, Gay's gone. The manager himself has said he's going. He was unhappy about the timing of Gay's departure. For instance, how would he feel if Jean-Philippe Mateta was sold hours before Palace are playing Chelsea this weekend? I don't think he would be happy, but I think his unhappiness would be kept inside the building, because obviously Crystal Palace were very, very unhappy with what he said on Saturday night, but they're not going to sack him. He's not going to be sacked. If what he wants is to be sacked, that is not going to happen. If he wants to leave Crystal Palace, he's going to have to walk out of the club. The message from Crystal Palace to him is, you're our manager until the summer. You get on with doing your job. In the meantime, we're working hard behind the scenes to strengthen the squad. So even if Jean-Philippe Mateta was to leave, I guarantee you it would only be for the right price, and it would only be when Palace had a replacement lined up.
Just looking at results, 10 games without a win. From the outside looking in, it does feel like a bit of a downward spiral, doesn't it, at the club? Are there concerns behind the scenes?
Yeah, of course there are. But I think people behind the scenes at Palace are realistic. They know that a month ago they beat Fulham and they were fourth in the Premier League. And everyone was talking about what a great year it'd been for Crystal Palace, won their first ever trophy, won the Community Shield, were playing in Europe as well. Actually, they should be playing in the Europa League, not the Conference League, but that's another story. And you have to remember, they've lost two of their best players. Munoz has been injured. Ismail Assar has gone to AFCON, won the AFCON with Senegal. Those players are going to be back soon. Crystal Palace have just broken their transfer record to sign Brennan Johnson for £35 million. So additions are being made to the squad. I think the feeling at Crystal Palace is what Oliver Glasner has said. It's fine to say that behind closed doors, but don't say it in public because it doesn't help anyone.
OK, Kaveh, thanks so much for that. Look, here is a look at the form table then for Palace. Really concerning times for them.